You know, when I was a boy, my father used to take me walking in the forest. We'd walk, look at the trees, the birds, nature doing its thing. And he would tell me things. Once, we saw a bird, a small brown bird hopping around. And he said to me, "You see that bird? Its name is Spencer's thrush. In Italian, it's tordo. In Chinese, it's chunglo. In Japanese, it's tsukimi. You could know the name of that bird in every language in the world, but when you finished, you still wouldn't know one single thing about the bird itself. You would only know about humans in different places and what they call it." There it is. That's the difference, the deep, terrible difference, between knowing the name of something and knowing what the thing is. I see everybody nowadays, everybody, talking about this thing called artificial intelligence, AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, neural networks. Everyone's running around shouting, "It thinks, it feels, it's going to take over the world, it's smarter than us." And I look at it. I look at what's actually happening under the hood, and I think of my father. I think of that bird. Because what we're seeing now, this incredible phenomenon, don't get me wrong, it's fascinating. It's a marvel of engineering. But what we're seeing is the greatest knowing names machine we have ever built, and we are mistaking it for knowing what the bird is. Most people think AI is a brain. They imagine, because we use words like neuron and neural network, that we've built a digital version of a biological mind. That somewhere inside those silicon chips, there's a little man or a ghost sitting at a desk, thinking, pondering, feeling existential anguish. But it's nothing like that. If you go all the way down, if you take the lid off and look at the gears, what you find is mathematics. And not even scary, magical mathematics. It's statistics. It's probability. It's the most impressive, complete the sentence trick the universe has ever seen. Let's start with something simple. Imagine you're learning to speak. When you're a baby, you don't know grammar. You don't know what a verb or a noun is. You just hear sounds. You hear your mother say water, and you get the liquid. You hear no, and you stop. You start associating patterns. If I say, "The cat sat on the," what comes next? Most of you almost instantly thought, mat. Why? Did you deduce it logically? Did you calculate the physics of the cat and the friction of the rug? No. You simply heard that sequence of words, cat sat on the, so many times, in stories and conversations, that the probability of the next word being mat is enormous. It could be sofa, it could be roof, but it would rarely be sandwich. The cat sat on the sandwich. It's possible, grammatically correct, but statistically improbable. That's what these machines do. These large language models. On a scale the human brain can barely comprehend, but the principle is exactly that. They read everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Every book, every Wikipedia article, every Reddit thread, every refrigerator instruction manual, every terrible poem teenagers posted on blogs in the 2000s. They swallowed the entire internet. And what did they do with it? They didn't understand. They didn't sit down and appreciate the poetry of Fernando Pessoa. They broke it all into tiny pieces, tokens, word fragments, and started calculating the probability of one piece appearing near another. Imagine a gigantic map, a multidimensional map, not a 2D map like a city, not a 3D map like the world, but a map with thousands of dimensions. On that map, every word is a point, and the distance between points is determined by meaning, or rather, by usage. The word king is somewhere on that map. The word man is close to it. The word woman is a bit farther. The word queen is somewhere else. Now here's the magic, the thing that makes mathematicians drool. If you take the point king, subtract the vector for man, and add the vector for woman, you land almost exactly on the point queen. The machine doesn't know what a king is. It doesn't know what a man or a woman is. It has never seen one, never been one, never touched anything. To it, they are just coordinates in vector space, numbers, lists of numbers. But the geometric relationship between those numbers captures the structure of our language. And since our language is the tool we use to describe reality, the machine ends up capturing a shadow, an imprint of the structure of reality. But it's the shadow, you see, not the object. The great misconception is thinking that processing language is the same as having thought. It isn't. Thinking involves intention. It involves a model of the world that gets tested against reality. When I think about how to fix a radio, I have a mental image of tubes, wires, electric current flowing. If I turn this knob, that happens. I have physics in my head. AI has no physics. It has text. If you ask it how to fix the radio, it will give you a perfect answer. Not because it understands electronics, but because it read 1,000 repair manuals and knows which words tend to follow which other words in a broken radio context. The end result looks like understanding, looks like intelligence, but the process is fundamentally different. It's mimicry, high-fidelity statistical mimicry. Is this dangerous? It can be, but not for the reasons science fiction movies tell us. It's not dangerous because Skynet will wake up and decide humans are obsolete. It's dangerous because we humans are addicted to meaning. We are pattern-finding machines. We look at a cloud and see a rabbit. We look at the stars and see a hunter with a belt. We look at text generated by a machine that says, "I'm scared." And our brain, our evolved empathy, screams, "My God, it's alive." It isn't. It's just predicting that in the vast corpus of human text it digested, when the phrase, "they're going to shut me down" appears, the next most probable sequence is, "I'm scared." It's completing the pattern of our own fear, reflecting our own literature back at us. It's a mirror, an incredibly complex mirror that reflects our collective intelligence, our biases, our fears, and our dreams. But there is nothing behind the glass. Think about the training process. How do we teach this thing? It's not like teaching a child. We teach through error and punishment, or rather, through a loss function. Imagine the AI as a hiker in a mountainous landscape full of peaks and valleys, but it's thick fog everywhere. The hiker can't see anything. The goal is to reach the lowest point, the deepest valley, which represents zero error, the perfect answer. The AI takes a random step. It guesses a word. Say the question is, "What's 2 plus 2?" And it, stupid and random at first, says pineapple. We say, "No, wrong, way off." The mathematical function calculates how wrong it was. Pineapple is very far from 4, so we tweak the knobs. What knobs? The parameters, the weights. There are billions of them. Imagine a giant studio mixing console with billions of rotary knobs. Each knob controls the strength of the connection between two little pieces of information. When it says pineapple, we turn all billions of knobs just a tiny bit, in the direction that would make it say something closer to a number. It tries again. 7. Better. Still wrong, but it's a number. Turn the knobs again. 3. Almost. Turn again. 4. Bingo. Now multiply that by trillions of examples, repeated billions of times, on supercomputers that consume the energy of a small city. What happens in the end? We have a configuration of those billions of knobs such that, if you put any question in one side, the water flows through those channels, being pushed and pulled, and comes out the other side as the correct answer. But what does that mean? It means intelligence and knowledge have been turned into topography, turned into a landscape of weights and connections. If you open the network and look at neuron 4,566,7,892, it doesn't contain the definition of cat. It contains a number 0.74. That number means nothing in isolation. The cat isn't anywhere. The concept of cat is spread out, diffuse, encoded in the complex interaction of all those billions of numbers. It's emergent. And this is where it gets weird, where even I have to stop and scratch my head. Because even though we know how we built the machine, even though we know the mathematics of gradient descent that trained it, we don't really know what it learned in there. It's a black box. We know how it learns, but we don't know what it knows. We see that it can translate French to English, but we don't know if it discovered an intermediate universal language, or if it just memorized complex dictionaries. We see that it can write Python code, but we don't know if it understands programming logic or if it just saw so many examples that it knows an if is usually followed by an indentation. Sometimes it hallucinates. I love the word they chose, hallucination, because it sounds human. It sounds like the machine ate some bad mushrooms. But what is an AI hallucination? It's simply the machine continuing the pattern when it shouldn't. If you ask it for facts about a person who doesn't exist, the AI won't say, "I don't know." Its impulse, the fundamental nature of its existence, is to complete the pattern with what is most probable. Names sound like names, dates sound like dates. It will invent a complete biography with awards that never existed and books that were never written, because statistically, that's what a biography looks like. For the machine, truth is not a requirement, plausibility is. Truth is just a subset of plausibility. Truth is just the text that happens to correspond to the real world, but the machine has no access to the real world. It only has access to text. So why the misconception? Why do we insist on personifying it? Because we are lonely. As a species, we are desperate for company. We look at the vast, cold, silent universe and shout, "Is anybody out there?" And when we finally build something that answers, something that uses our language, our structure, our jokes, we become hypnotized. But we have to be honest. We have to have that brutal scientific integrity of not fooling ourselves. This doesn't diminish the achievement. Quite the opposite. The fact that we can replicate something that looks so much like human intelligence using only statistics and brute force is a profound discovery about ourselves. Maybe we are not as special as we thought. Maybe, and this is the part that gives me chills, maybe what we call consciousness, intuition, and soul is, to a large extent, just a very, very advanced text prediction mechanism running on biological meat. Maybe when I speak, I'm also just predicting the next most probable word that will make you agree with me or laugh at my joke. But I doubt it. I doubt it because there is something in the process of discovery, that aha moment, that pleasure of finding something no one has ever seen before, that feels fundamentally different from retrieving a pattern. AI can paint a picture in the style of Van Gogh, but it would never have felt the need to invent Van Gogh's style if it didn't already exist. It can write a poem about pain, but it has never cried. And you might say, the result is the same, so what? The result matters, of course. But in physics, as in life, how you get there matters as much as where you arrive. The real danger is not the machine becoming human, it's us becoming machines. It's starting to accept the plausible in place of the true. It's stopping doing the hard work of verifying, of understanding, of digging deep, and settling for the easy, smooth answer the algorithm spits out. It's automated intellectual laziness. If the AI writes your essay, you didn't learn to think. Writing is thinking. Writing is not putting words on paper. It's the process of structuring your mind. If you outsource that, you outsource your own capacity for reasoning. Look at science. Science is not a body of knowledge. Science is a way of thinking. It's a way of not being fooled. AI is the opposite of that in a sense. It's a machine designed to create the most convincing possible deception, the most human possible text, no matter who it hurts. It is the ultimate cargo cult. Remember the cargo cults? In the South Pacific during the war, the natives saw planes landing with supplies. They didn't understand the mechanics, the logistics, the radio tower. When the war ended, they built fake runways out of straw, bamboo radio towers, wooden headphones, and waited for the planes to return. They imitated the form perfectly, but lacked the substance, lacked the fundamental understanding of why the plane flies. AI is our cargo cult of intelligence. We built the runway, the syntax, the grammar, the vocabulary, and the planes are landing. The answers look right. But do we understand what's happening in the sky? What fascinates me is what we're going to do next. Now that we know language can be dissociated from understanding, what is understanding? If you can pass the Turing test without having a mind, is the Turing test useless? Probably. We need new tests. We need to dig deeper into neuroscience and the physics of information to figure out what that something more is that we feel when we really understand something. That click feeling. AI has no click. It has a smooth reduction in the loss function. We have the click. And don't forget creativity. AI is a mean machine. It takes everything humanity has ever done and calculates the center, the weighted average. It's incredible at creating things that are mediocrely excellent. But true innovation, true genius, usually comes from the edges, from mistakes, from things that statistically shouldn't happen. The theory of relativity was statistically improbable. Jazz was statistically improbable. If we had trained an AI on all 19th century classical music and asked, make new music, it would produce infinite Brahms. It would never produce Miles Davis. Because Miles Davis required a break, a mistake, a human living a uniquely human experience and translating it into sound. The machine doesn't live. It only processes the record of other people's lives. So the next time you talk to your computer and it tells you a funny joke, laugh. It's funny. But remember the bird, remember Spencer's thrush. The machine knows the name of the joke, it knows the structure of the joke, it knows that humans find that sequence of words funny. But it is not laughing. It does not know what humor is. It does not know what it is to be a finite, flawed, absurd being who needs laughter to survive the fear of death. Humor comes from our fragility. The machine is immortal and invulnerable as long as it has electricity. So it will never understand the joke. It is a tool, the most powerful tool we have ever invented, perhaps more powerful than fire or writing. But fire can cook your dinner or burn your house down. Writing can preserve Shakespeare's wisdom or spread lies that destroy civilizations. AI will do both. It will cure diseases because it can see patterns in proteins we would never see. It will optimize energy in ways that save the planet. But it will also flood our world with noise, with plausible lies, with soulless art. It is up to us, the humans, the carriers of the click, the ones who understand the bird and not just its name, to make sure we know the difference. Don't be fooled by eloquence. Eloquence is cheap now. What is expensive, what is rare, what is precious, is truth. It is intention. It is the real connection of one mind trying to touch another across the abyss of space and time that the machine does not have. That is ours, and we had better hold on to it tightly because the storm of names is coming, and if we're not careful, we'll forget how to look at the bird. Look at the world, not at the screen. Look at the chaotic, wonderful complexity of reality. Atoms crashing, light bending, life evolving. No simulation, no matter how perfect, replaces the pleasure of discovering how the world really is. AI is a fantastic map. Use the map, but for God's sake, don't try to live in the map. The territory is where life happens, and the territory is strange, unpredictable, and not in the training data. That's where the physics happens. That's where we happen. That's it. The speed of light is a physical limit. Does artificial intelligence have a logical limit? Maybe. The limit may be experience itself. You cannot calculate experience. You have to live it. And until the machine has a body, until it fears death, until it has to fight for its energy, it will be just a ghost in the machine, an echo of our own voices shouting in the canyon. A very convincing echo, but only an echo. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to play my bongos. Because this isn't statistics. This is rhythm. And rhythm we feel.